If you've got a reading list that you never actually got into the bottom of, a pile of papers, a whole unit's worth of sources, a lit review that just keeps on growing, well, then stick with me. I want to show you a free tool that reads all of that with you. And more importantly, it's provided by Monash. The best part, it only gives you answers from the sources that you provided. A quick hello first. I'm Amila. I'm an AI fitness trainer here at Monash University, and my whole job is to help people like yourself with AI and get stronger with AI. Think of it like a trainer and what they do in a gym. I meet with you where you're at, I help you build a habit, and we add a little bit more every single week. So today, we're going to train one thing together, turning that reading pile into something that actually works for you. It's called NotebookLM. For academic work, it behaves a little differently from your usual chatbot. It only ever looks at the material you upload. And every answer it gives you, it comes up with a citation pointing to the exact page that it came from. So you can always check that it actually works. For those of us who care about getting things right, that's what makes something you genuinely build into something that you know how to work with. Let me show you with some real papers. I've dropped 4 articles and a reading guide into this notebook here, and I've asked it a question that, in order to do myself, would normally take my whole afternoon, which is, where do these authors agree, where do they clash, and what are the weaknesses in their methods? And this is the answer that Notebook gave me. Look at that. Pulled together a proper synthesis with sources that I can double check myself, and is basically the bones of a literature review in a couple seconds. Now here's the bit where teaching staff and academic staff tend to love included, which is from these exact same 4 sources, we can, with a simple click, change them into things like a mind map that lets us visualize the content a bit deeper, into flashcards, quizzes, and the next one is something that really blew my mind, which is an audio overview, otherwise known as a podcast. So imagine 2 AI hosts sitting there discussing your material like a little podcast. Picture a student or a staff member who'd rather listen to a week's reading on the train and use it to revise the exam or a content, rather than just reading over the books or reading some text. It won't do the reading for you, but it does hand a lay of the land before you properly dive into everything. If you want to take it one step further, this is where it gets really interesting for ongoing research. So you can actually connect the notebook into this thing that we like to call a gem. A gem is a custom assistant that you set up once, you give it a role. So for example, in this case, you might say, you are my research assistant, pull out my key findings and flag any weak materials. Then you attach the notebook as its knowledge, and here's the part that I really love, which is the notebook actually keeps itself in sync. So every new paper you add, or every new book you add to the notebook throughout the time period, your assistant or the Gemini assistant knows everything about it, which means you're not actually re-uploading anything and you don't have to explain yourself over and over again. You basically have a research assistant that knows your own library and keeps growing with it. You can always check its sources, and it turns your reading into tools for both research and teaching. It's free, and you'll find it at notebook.com, and make sure you log in using your Monash Uni credentials. And honestly, the best way around it, and the best way to get your head around it, is by just throwing in one message document in today, asking it a question. If you found this useful, let me know what you want me to cover next time, and I'm happy to keep them coming.